WJBW is made possible by sausage. Stick one in your mouth.
I hear a little bit of feedback in the mic.
These charges are not mine.
Hey, welcome to the JBW Web DBWDD.com or RevShow.com. Oh, yes! Fucking asinine.
Can you give me a massage? I love you.
Holla at you. Ooh, girl.
Seriously.
Hello, Papa.
Some shit like that. You gotta do the Rocky Mountain Ride.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck with. Boy. Everybody get the Rocky Mountain Ride.
WJBW.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, what's up? Welcome back.
What's up?
I am JB Webb over there.
I'm
is
the Reverend.
The Reverend. Welcome to the JB Rev Show.
The JB. And it's two E's, the JB
No,
Rev
it's
Show.
just one E.
The E. It's how you say it. The E.
No, you don't
JB
do that.
Show.
Don't listen to
Rev
him.
Show.
Welcome to the JB Rev Show. This is the season opener for season Ocho.
Ocho.
Season
Ocho.
Ocho. Do you need headphones over there?
I do.
Are you just walking around? All right,
you know.
Because then you could hear how loud you are. Instantly
wow.
to a fight.
I'm
Okay,
loud.
we start
No, what are you
all
talking
our
about?
shows with the fight.
That's what the Ocho.
Okay, I was going to make new intros and all this stuff, but we have Hurricane Irma eye banging us now from across the Atlantic. So
Yeah.
we're recording the show. We normally do the show live every Tuesday night. You can count on that. We're kind of moving forward into the rest of September, and we'll be doing that as we normally do. But on today's show, we have a couple of cool things set up. Number one, we have a call with, we dubbed her local legend last
Jessica
season.
Pawli.
Miss Jessica Pawli, going to talk about Southern Fried Sunday a little bit, some stuff she has coming up.
Didn't mean to take your thunder. Jessica Pawli.
Yeah, no, that's okay. That's okay, but
And can I tell who we're going to the next person we're going to be speaking with?
I
do, man.
You listen to the show?
And we got a special call coming from London.
Now
from
we do. This is exciting,
Mr. Mark Snyder, aka Remark.
There you go. And
So
excellent. So once we get everything all kind of
season opener, pretty good.
There you go. Pretty damn good season
Opener.
Ocho.
There
you go.
In case you don't know, Ocho means 14. Right?
Yeah.
14. How much is Ocho? Ocho, don't you know? Don't you know Ocho?
Ocho is 8. What's the matter with you?
So, well, I think we should share attention about that, JB, because this is your 8th season.
Cheers. Kudos.
That is awesome,
thank
dude.
you. And you've been here for, this is your third.
Actually,
this is your third.
Going into the 4th,
no,
isn't it?
Wait. No, it's 15. That's 2, 17. Going into your third with us.
Okay. I thought for sure we already did
in 2015.
Right.
So that
would be 1, and then 2016
and that's
was 2.
And you're going into 3. It's 2017.
All right. Okay.
It feels like more because of the stuff that we do over the summer.
True.
And I guess we broadcast, probably 40, 50 episodes a year.
Right.
Pretty much every week.
Yeah,
right?
we do.
And we focus on art, music, and food and activism, people that are fighting for a good cause.
Right.
And we have some great people lined up for season Ocho. I'm excited. I don't want to talk about it now because a lot of the times in light, if you kind of talk about stuff, it blows it blows it.
That being said, we do have a lot of, this is going to be, this is our not make it or break it season at all. But I think we're really going to make
awesome.
it. Well, let me say.
Well, we've already made it though because, and I'll tell you why. A friend of mine and I were speaking about this today. When you have something that nobody can take away, you've won.
True.
So we're not trying to get ratings. We're trying to create content that is evergreen and out there and just is every week beautiful. Like we're saying, we love people. We want to talk about your badass stuff you're doing.
We love people that deserve the love. Because there's a lot of people I don't
little
love.
Emphasis. You're right.
Yeah, we love the giving people that really make a difference in one way or another.
But there's a lot too in saying, hey, we want to be this beacon or this outlet for virtually anybody that is creating or has created.
Right.
To say, we broadcast every week, give us your stuff. Now, I'll tell you that J. Doan Monroe, remember him from Somber a few weeks back, months back, actually, he kind of reached out to me. And I thought that was awesome because of the Circadian Cast and what we do there. We play people's original music.
Yes,
we do that on the weekly. We've just recently played a great mix from the Rev on that last edition there.
Yeah.
So, well, you want to tune it up? Well, send it to me.
Definitely.
Well, then you need to say this is a radio friendly. Radio ready.
I never gave you that, but it's
you never gave me that approval.
I mean, there's
in hindsight,
and I knew when
I hope Jessica calls and breaks up our fight.
No, but we need to explain because especially about that mix. I just that was my idea of what setting it up. Anyways, it's great.
Well, I guess while we're waiting for Jessica Pawli to give us a call here.
Yeah.
How many hurricanes have you been through?
Let's see. I went through Charlie and the two that followed that. I went through Andrew, which still came up up.
That was like 90,
92, and I was I was living out of. I was an adult then, and I was so I had a like a duplex at the time.
So you regressed from now to then. No, I'm just kidding.
Anyways, but you asked, and then last year
hurricanes.
I would say
Matthew
probably
wasn't that bad, right?
No, Matthew wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
But I was in the house that I'm still at today, going through Charlie.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and I lost like a shed and everything. That was.
Do you think? Well, we'll ask Jessica. She's calling our very first guest. There we go. Welcome to the WJBW. Who does be? Hopefully, it's Jay Pawli.
It is Jay Pawli. It is.
Yay! What's up, Jessica? It's Jerry.
Hello, Jerry.
Hey.
Hello, Jay.
Hey,
it's Jessica Pawli.
Hey, Miss Pawli, how you doing? Thanks for your time. We are recording this episode. It's our season opener, so grateful that you could be a part of it because you're the prototype. Well, you're the prototype of kind of somebody that we're talking about. Somebody that's constantly pushing stuff forward, creating in the scene, and now creating a concert, creating a perpetual legendary music event on Sundays centered around Southern fried things and delicious food. Is you are a maven at that for sure. So welcome you're welcome. Welcome to our show. Now, I wanted to be able to chat with you for a little bit here, and so I kind of want to get update. We're recording this before the actual Irma hits, right? So we're going to air it probably tomorrow. But are you okay? Everybody safe? Everybody all hunkered?
Well, currently I'm at work, but once I do get home to Spa Pawli, it is actually a spa and a fortress of protection and solitude.
Good.
So it's a great place to hunker. I'll be just fine.
Well, good. Okay, so you're set. Good deal. And what's going on? Yeah, so chat with us a little bit. We got about 10 minutes before, about 10 minutes.
Remark's going to give us a call from London.
Yeah, and so what I love, Jess, is that you just keep churning forward, and you're always offering exactly what we're doing here in a digital format. You're doing it in a real physical format, which is way harder.
Yeah, it's way harder to organize and to get, the scheduling.
In the 3D world.
Yeah, I mean, Jessica, I got to tell you, too, I mean, I am just... love what you do for this community, and the stuff that you have done, and the charity that you provided, and just the musical influences that you
the people she brings
I mean,
get to come here.
She does so much. People don't understand. I understand a little bit of it because I tried to organize, just one event, just, once a month, and that's hard enough, know. And what you do is times
is difficult.
Yeah, but still, I mean, you do so much, and I'm very
perpetually. How long have you been doing Southern Fried Sunday?
Ooh, good question.
In January, it will be 12 years.
Wow. And you started
12
this
12 years of monthly shows.
You were 18 years old when you first started that, so you're barely 30 now.
Oh,
right?
my gosh.
Yeah, that's it. But give or take, there were a few months off here and there. I know we took a few months off when we moved Southern Fried Sunday to Will's Pub from Copper Rocket. We ended it, I think, in December one year, and then took a few months off and started it at the new location, Will's Pub, where it found a even better home and has been able to really grow and flourish with Will Walker's help. So we took a few months off when we were, doing the move. But it has been almost 12 years of monthly shows, and you're right, Jerry. It's not easy to keep a monthly event going.
Yeah, right.
It's not easy to continue to build upon it and to keep people's interest and to keep people's support and keep people, coming back. And I think a lot of times people do get a little complacent with it. They're like, oh, I love Southern Fried Sunday, but it'll be there next month.
Yeah.
And I think that you have to keep inspiring people to keep coming back and keep supporting it and, play around with the concept a little bit. I know that the concept at its heart is a Southern roots music showcase,
right?
But we have had just last month we had a surf rock Sunday, which was fantastic. The music was amazing. The food from Clay Watson, he did tacos. It was amazing. We've played around with it before. We've had soul fried Sundays.
Yep.
And then we've had some bigger festival style events where it's kind of anything goes as far as the musical and genre selection.
That being said, this next one is awesome. I can't believe you haven't done this before, but it's such a great idea.
We get back to our Southern roots,
right?
And it's all Southern music, but it does have a theme. And you're right.
And
this is a first time ever. It's an all female musician music festival,
which is
awesome. The traditional Southern Fried Sunday is usually 3 to 4 musical acts one night, inside Will's. But this one is in Will's Pub, in Little Indies, and outside in the Dirty Laundry Pavilion or the old laundromat parking lot.
Right.
With a stage outside, and this is going to be really cool too. It's a big celebration of Southern music and food and cocktails. Jack Daniels is sponsoring the whole event.
Wow.
And I think you guys are going to find this really cool. They're bringing out their Airstream trailer bar.
Oh, cool.
And so they'll be serving classic Southern craft cocktails.
Oh, nice.
That's
from
kudos
the bar. They're going to be
you.
doing old fashions and mint juleps, and I think Jen Harton is working on some sort of Jack Daniels and champagne, old school Southern punch.
Right. And of course, it's this Sunday when the hurricane's hitting, which is great. I know it's not. JB's over there. No, next. I'm like, duh.
It's next Sunday, thankfully. It is the 17th. Also, we're celebrating Southern food. Swine and Sons is coming out, and for the first time ever, we are having an all locally sourced farm-to-table menu.
Wow.
That Swine and Sons is going to be doing a buffet-style dinner.
Awesome.
And you'll be able to have all kinds of fantastic sides and fresh local meats and farm-raised,
Man, this is a big deal, and I gotta say, Jessica, I'm definitely not going to miss this one. And you mentioned it before. People think, it'll 17th. Be here next month, but this is not to be missed. I mean, it's all women.
We're kind of going a little out for a little over the top for this one. Not over the top, but a little bit more than normal. Really playing up that Southern vibe. We're asking people to kind of take this as maybe like a derby party, but a derby style party in the fall. Bring out the big hats, dress up a little bit. It is Will's Pub's 22nd anniversary.
Yep.
We are celebrating fall and celebrating the anniversary with this event. There are 11 performances throughout the afternoon and evening. Inside Will's Pub, in Little Indies, outside Hannah Harbor and the Lionhearts are playing, full band, and I do believe Brian Chatterkoff is joining them. Kaylee Baker is playing and putting together something special for the day.
Terry
Beth
Binion.
McKee's Swamp Sister Songwriter Circle, so that's 4 different women who are all coming together to play different songs and then some songs together. That's Beth McKee, Kion Riley from WUCF, the jazz station. let's see, Renee, I can never say her last name correctly, but she's from Renee is a Zombie.
Wow.
And Kai Manai, the Mexican folk singer. She's going to be doing some songs. Wow. Also, we have Heather Lee and Jordan Wynn performing with their new full band, the White Tigers.
Wow.
Terry Binion, Solace, which is members of Harmonica Man and the Sawgrass Band. They are performing with Ariel, their female vocalist, leading. Maple Sparrow, which is a fantastic band from the Claremont area led by Amy Robbins. Sarah Purser, she's going to be backed by her husband Marco, and they're going to be doing some folk and like gospel kind of standards.
It's such a wide range, and see your
members of the Ukuleles are playing.
Okay.
Two of the members of Ukuleles with their new duo, Sleepy Giants. Parlor, which is a Winter Garden area duo, and they're having a special guest, Layla Brisbos, join them. And then from Tears of a Tyrant, Danielle Dart is going to be doing, I think, one of her first times ever playing a solo set.
Wow.
Interesting.
So how many artists is that?
Well,
I know.
It's all female artists,
yeah.
right?
How many?
Yeah,
how many?
or female-led band.
Female-led,
Right.
Yeah, female-led.
There may be some guys playing, but they won't be the front.
Well, I hope so.
Men.
Yeah.
It's 11 artists, and it starts at 4:00, and it'll be over by 10:30. So we're going to have continuous music running throughout the whole time. But the way I've got the schedule laid out is you can see every set. You won't have to. If you might only catch half a set over here, but then you can catch part of a set over here.
Right.
Like everything overlaps in a way that if you wanted to, you could see everyone.
Awesome.
I like how your phone just cut out in DJ voice like that. That was pretty cool. Yeah, that was like very. Yeah, it was a good 80s trick. That was awesome. Jessica Pawli on the line talking about Southern Fried Sunday. It's September 17th, 2017 out there at the Will's Pub.
Which, by the way...
The Southern Belle Ball, y'all.
Southern Belle Ball.
And that'll be about the time that everybody's going to want to,
do something.
Yeah, get out of the house and
crazy.
Be where...
Well, we will have power by then. I can see it. I can see it happening. The work of Jessica Pawli. There you go. That is your artwork, and you do it so well.
One more thing. What?
This is also a charity event.
Oh.
We're going to be accepting donations of
Giving
food
back,
and funds
like I said earlier.
for Second Harvest Food Bank of Central Florida.
Awesome.
Especially after the hurricane, a lot of people deplete their, people that are a little less fortunate don't have as much food in the pantry. They've got to be home for a few days. They're deleting all of their supplies. They're eating all of their canned foods.
There you go.
So people that have really stocked up for the storm, afterwards, when they've got some extras, if they could bring them to this event and donate them for Second Harvest Food Bank. It is Harvest Food Bank's month of it's their big drive month.
Gotcha.
It's like the hunger awareness month.
And it just
so
says
we're asking that everyone, donate either funds or food at this event.
That's great.
Awesome.
And it says so much. I mean, it really does.
And that's what we were talking about earlier, that we like to talk to people like you, Jessica, that give back to the community.
Yeah,
really,
we're being a little particular. This season
awesome.
We're trying to be more particular. So it's awesome that we were able to start with you because you are achieving something incredible. You're welcome, Jessica.
It's my goal that we get to the point where every Southern Fried Sunday has some sort of charitable aspect or is involved to bring awareness or raise funds for a charity. So I would like to start with this one and continue that on for the rest of the year and into next year's events as well.
Okay.
So we're celebrating the season of fall, which is always a harvest season. Traditionally, it has been the season of harvest and the season of abundance. And I would like to see us, share what we have with our neighbors who may not have as much.
Perfectly said.
Yes.
Jessica Pawli over there. Is it J. Paul? Like, no? Is that your street name? Anyway. All right. Hang tight on the line with us, Jess. We're going to bust into some music, prep up for a call with Remark, who has the WPRK connection back in the day, right? And be right back.
There.
All right, dig it. What?
You're a breath of fresh air to me. 자존심을 이렇게 손 손가락에 조금 덜어서 무릎 위에 천천히 펴서 발라주세요. 쪽팔렸던 기억들은 이제 내 후년 옆에 자연스럽게 도포하시면 되시는 거고 자존심을 이렇게 손가락에 조금 덜어서 무릎 위에 천천히 펴서 발라주세요. 쪽팔렸던 기억들은 이제 내 후년 옆에 자연스럽게 도포하시면 되시는 거고 우울증이라고 하는데 24시간 동안 안 지워지고 깊은 한숨을 아직 알 수 없는 내일 손등에 올리고 동그랗게 잘 펴서 덜어주고 이 제품은 우울증이라고 하는데 24시간 동안 안 지워지고 깊은 한숨을
WJBW.
The electronics is so predominant that people would really prefer.
Hey, what's up? It's JB Webb and the Rev over there. The JB Rev Show. Welcome back to it. We do it on the weekly now. We're into season OCHO, and I'm stoked to have on the line. We're going to go right out of the gate. Well-known and beloved DJ here in Orlando as the
he's
PRK,
not here in Orlando anymore.
Roots, but don't spoil it, Rev.
Okay.
Local Legend Session with Remark has deep roots in Orlando. Incredible talent, DJ, especially in the regards of mixing in ingredients you may have forgotten about in life, because music is beautiful, life is beautiful. On the line with us, I'm so stoked and happy to be able to have you, man. Thank you so much for gracing our little show here. It is Remark over there in London, no less.
That's right.
In the city of London. Welcome to our humble show. How the hell you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me. Yes, it's great to be on here, and I really appreciate you guys taking the time. Thanks so much.
Man, this is our season opener, and I can we can think of this. I'm excited.
Well, you have an upcoming release coming out here, which has been kind of a little stint for you of not kind of putting kind of your mix out there, which you have some great stuff. And here's what I love, man, is you've also, I found on some of your, I think it's your SoundCloud page, you have interviews that you did back in the day, and Andy Hughes was one of them, which I was like, that is very germane to what we do here.
We've had Andy on here.
Yeah. So we kind of have that kindred spirit thing. But, man, I love your mixes, your sound, and a little later we're going to play some New Order, Pet Shop Boys stuff that you've remixed a while ago. But and like we said, later on we'll talk about your release coming out in September. What is September 16th, I think?
The next one's coming up. That's right.
Nice.
Okay, cool. So we'll get to all that, but we love to go kind of, linear here, especially when it comes to roots. So give us a little bit of your Orlando history and how you kind of came up here, and maybe how influential the music and the culture was at that time, and paint a picture for us if you would like.
Yeah, totally. Well, of course, I always love Orlando, and all of my roots are really there. My family still lives there, as well as my extended family, which I consider to be you folks and plenty of the people still involved in the kind of dance community and the scenes, even though it's changed over the years. But, my roots really go back to the Visage days, as I'm sure you guys recall. And, started off my career in the clubs working the light system at Visage before I got heavily involved in kind of having the opportunity to DJ there. But that is really where all of my kind of background is from, that kind of punk rock, goth, new wave era, which we grew up in.
Totally.
And Visage, even still to this day, has so much, relevance. I mean, there's still Visage reunions that happen in Orlando, which is just shocking to me. So it's great to see that club from back in the day still continues to carry forward with the people and the scene and that sound. So that's where it all started for me personally.
Let's talk about that just for a second with the Visage thing, because I mean, we were very fortunate to have those the bands come through that did. I mean, that was just like we were blessed, I mean, there's no doubt. And it definitely, is, who I am, and my musical influence is not all, but mostly because of Visage, I mean, just the bands, I mean, and the look, I mean, you just have an incredible look. You always have, but, back to you, Mark.
Okay,
I was getting sentimental about Visage.
Oh, you're going to sign him in a boy band next? What are you doing over there? Oh, my God.
Yeah.
But I was feeling
it's so funny you should say that, though, about Visage and this band, because I recall, we saw 9 Inch Nails for like $8.
I was there.
I just saw 9 Inch Nails when they opened for Peter Murphy, because they were smaller than what Peter Murphy was. And, now no one really remembers Peter Murphy in the same way, and 9 Inch Nails certainly became so much more massive. And, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Frontline Assembly, Fun 242. I mean,
Jane's Addiction.
Light played there in 1990.
Faith No More.
Anybody, and
Bjork.
It's just awesome to think. Yeah, exactly. We had so much Sugar Cubes. We had so much cool sound there, and it was so great. And I agree. It was really just one more element of the magic of the Orlando scene in those late 80s. And it's just, I can't trade those years for anything. It was incredible.
Yes, it was.
Well, you see, and that's a great point to make, too, because when it comes down to one's ability to say, hey, this influenced me, that influenced me, I think about it, too, that just sticks with you. There was something, I don't know if it's being replicated in the world today by having a meathead like this guy in office, but it's almost like you've got this rebellious youth thing again. However, it's almost half of those have sold out, though. I think back in our day, it was a little Gen Xers, a little more true to the blade, true to the line of what that means. But anyway, on the line with us, Remark, as I shut Grandpa up over there.
Like,
that's me.
Oh my God! I thought I was bad.
Okay, all right, come on.
So,
anyway, I'm experimenting. This whole thing's a big experiment.
I gotta real quick, bringing up Visage again. Remark used to, and he still is, an incredible dancer. And I remember Remark back in the day, being in the middle of the dance floor, and then he kind of incorporated that with his DJing as well. I mean, and that's where we want you to go into right now.
Heading into.
Yes,
I guess so.
Exactly.
How did you first kind of get privy to it? That hey, I want to mix this together. Did you see people do it, or how did that kind of come about? And did you have any lateral skill that you still kind of softly pursue?
Yeah, well, there's a couple of things I think, that happened after Visage kind of that era closed. I think what happened, the Edge opened, Oz was going on kind of simultaneously. This is, those early years of kind of that kind of, lack of a better term, rave scene that started to evolve, house music culture, et cetera, in Orlando that we all were part of.
Right.
And I think that was another magical thing. And for me, when I ended up leaving, high school and went to Rollins College and joined there in 1991, that's when I got my radio show playing dance music, which was, obviously a huge kind of part of my career 10 years running on Rollins Radio, and that just worked simultaneously with the other club life that continued to evolve. And so I went over to the Edge. I was obviously going to Oz and various things, and then as we know, Firestone opened, which was certainly the beginning of a significant shift in the kind of the massive popularity of the scene.
Right.
Oh, and then I got my job at Underground Records, which also was kind of part of it. So it was really just a combination of all these things that happened, and I have to give massive credit, to Robbie Clark and Kimball and Andy Hughes and Chris Fortier and all these guys who were really welcoming to me at the time in terms of helping me get, involved in the scene. And I know you mentioned it earlier with my interview with Andy Hughes on WPRK, but that was a part of me giving back. I had all those guys I mentioned on my show. I had additional international talent come through. I worked really closely with the promoters at Firestone to get the DJs that were playing there to come over and, do a set at PRK before they go and play out that night. So it was just a really great time, and that's really took it to an entirely new level in terms of my passion for the scene and, of course, the music. And we all know that those years were absolutely magical.
So, hey, speaking of PRK, and back in 91, right? So the time slot that you had, do you remember whose show you took over at that time? Took that?
Whose show I took over? No,
well, no.
I can't remember.
So I do, because I remember talking to the program director, and he came to me and he's like, "Hey, I gotta, we're gonna have to discontinue your show." And I'm like, "Well, what's going on?" He's like, "Well, we got a student, and students always take, we always," and I was like, "Oh, okay, no worries." So yeah, I had that same time slot in 91, and that, and then you took over, which was awesome. But no, this is why I wanted.
You're being punked. I'm Ashton Kutcher, really? No, I'm
not punking him. That's true story. Dude.
No, that is amazing piece of history. I didn't Lego. I knew that you were there. I didn't know he took over your.
Yeah, I was on Saturday nights from 11 till 2.
Oh, dang. Well, there you go. Oh, well, I
said
was
11 till was what was like. It was
okay. 11-2. Comes full circle then, I guess.
You see, and this was before the day of internet, or the internet you had was AOL, and it
S to 91.
It S to D.
There was no AOL.
Okay, well then forget that. Never mind. Yeah, you had a phone in your car if you were rich.
Anyways, back to Remark.
Back to this though. And you're painting a good picture of what it was like back then, because you had to be your own. Your internet was the interaction with people and places, experiencing things. So I think today that's super important. And what I love about the way that you mix things together is that it evokes kind of that vibe that we're all about, man.
Right.
Because what we love to make sure that people do know, we're kind of Gen X to the core, and we're all
right, Grandpa.
We're convinced that the man is bringing us down. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Anyway, we're convinced.
We're talking with Remark right now.
Well, that music now you're seeing 9 Inch Nails come back, right? You saw that.
Sure, but good, buddy.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah,
okay.
You've seen that?
Yeah.
And I guess what would be cool, too, would be to get a good impression of what London is like over there.
Well, you're kind of jumping the gun here a little bit, because, he did that and we were talking about him giving back to the community and, which is what we like.
Yeah, I mean, if we go back to the linear kind of thing, I think as we know, the Orlando scene continued to flourish for so long, and then we got slapped in the face with that damn curfew that happened in '98.
And
it's funny because just recently, I'm sure you guys saw, I stumbled upon an old VHS tape of this documentary that was
I'm
made
glad you brought this up.
The scene. Yeah,
I watched that in its entirety.
And curfew. Yeah, and it's funny because that just really showcases what happened then, and that documentary was kind of well received then, and it was actually been shown in a movie theater and kind of for the Florida Film Festival back in '98, which a handful of us had an opportunity to screen, and it was great. But over these years, it's been forgotten and kind of been put in the archives. And I recently just put it out on YouTube. I think if you search for the remarkable the Orlando curfew, you can find it, and it just really tells the story. And so many people have responded so well to that, just recalling not only the magical era of the 1990s, but then also how it just came to a crash towards the end of the 90s. And not only was the curfew part of the problem, but another thing that's not really mentioned there, you talked about we didn't have social media, of course, but Napster was starting to creep up in those late 90s. And I remember in 99 when I was still working at Underground Records where, you know, we lost, 50% of our business, if not more, to Napster because kids weren't coming in and spending, $10, $12 on a European import anymore for a vinyl record. They were going to Napster. They were downloading that stuff for free. And it really, really put a huge, dent in kind of what we were doing and trying to make money even in that way. It was a real frustrating time. And all of that just caused a kind of a significant collapse of the magic that was happening. And personally, although I know there were some other success stories that came out of Orlando, again, Chris Fortier went on to continue to be successful. Kimball continued to make, music his career. I felt that it was a time to look at options to make a change. I still, of course, would have music in my blood and still do to this day, but I just didn't think of it as being kind of that continuing, significant, career-driven, money-making machine for myself. And that was a really tough time in 2000 when I left Orlando 2001 and, made a change. And it was really kind of depressing, to be honest, because you look back in those years and you're like, oh, all of a sudden the scene is just a distant memory,
Yeah, completely.
Yeah, it's like the tree that doesn't bear fruit anymore. You're like, oh my God.
So, hey, talking about that, the documentary that was just released, Remarkable. There's this one thing that we've had AK on here a couple times, but there was this one scene where you're going to try to get paid from this festival that never really started. And it was funny because, you were still up and coming at that point. AK had kind of already made a little bit of a name for himself. And I'll never forget the way you were kind of disappointed because you didn't get paid. And AK was walking out there with big smiles, all like, hey. Yeah. And I I took a picture of that and sent it to AK. And he forgot all about that. But man, it's and I'm just bringing that up because, that documentary, and it's on YouTube. It's called Remarkable. It really is a great.
Google that right now.
It's an awesome. You should definitely check it out.
And I think we are speaking with Remark out of London again. He has his own podcast now, of course, Remarkable. Yeah. So what I love again is that you're very true to the spirit of what we do here on the weekly, and it's almost that angels in the outfield. You build it, they will come. We have a weekly forum, and it's kind of the discipline of just making something happen. And this year, we're really focusing on the DJ because that is kind of akin on what we do. So, in saying all of that, talk a little bit about the podcast. Are we to the point kind of where that starts to be the option, or how did you stoke the fires of the DJ hood back up?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, after I left Orlando, I moved to Atlanta, and I was in Dallas for a short period, kind of a 2-year stint, but then, and that scene really wasn't happening for me, but I did make my way over to Atlanta, where I spent a good portion of the last years when I was in the U.S. before I moved to London, and, of course, had a huge kind of friendship network there. Atlanta, as you guys know, was a kindred spirit to Orlando in terms of house music and that culture, and many big clubs like Backstreet and, other places that were known. Ruth Hall got his start there in Atlanta, and there was just a lot of energy around that. And so I had already known about a lot of DJs there. Cazelle was from Atlanta, a lot of other people that, you just had connections with. So I was able to kind of slot right back into playing out. But it kind of felt like the scene had matured to a certain degree. I was playing to an older audience, and when I say older, meaning my age at the time. And it was, kind of more of a kind of elite bar scene, really cool places to go out and have cocktails, and I was really enjoying that. And that really kind of carried on for most of my time in Atlanta. But coming back to the podcast, as you guys know, during the mid-2000s, we really saw this digital revolution where it was really becoming clear that we could start to get our, music out in different ways and legally, preferably, and be able to start to share stuff. And so in 2006, I launched the Remarkable podcast, and I can't believe that it's been going now for 11 years. But it is something I put out there and had people go to iTunes. You could subscribe to it. Even if now you go to iTunes and search for the Remark podcast, you can find it. And it's just got every single kind of mix that I've released since then, all digital for you and with chapters, et cetera. And so that's really where it kind of began. And as we've continued over these previous years to see other formats evolve, such as SoundCloud, Mixcloud, Podbean, all these things.
Right.
I have, gone ahead and put out the music on those different channels as well. But the podcast is been a huge kind of, I consider it to be an extension of my radio show days.
Wow.
And it feels really great to be able to go and kind of play, but I'm no longer even limited to an hour or 2 hour mix and have to do a commercial break. I'm able to just put out the mix and just go as long as I want. And it's been a really great creative outlet. And I still love that I'm able to do it and have a pretty substantial following with people that still enjoy hearing all those mixes, which is fantastic.
So, hey, that's awesome. And this is I'm very excited. We're speaking with Remark. Yeah, come on, dude.
Come on, Papa.
All right,
Papa.
So
your background is incredible. I don't want to cut you off there, Rev. I'm sorry.
Well, you did.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Go on. What do you got?
Is this the part where we get in a fight?
No, go on, Grandpa.
Okay, come on. But what we love to do is really make sure that we're focusing on the actual, person that we're speaking with. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Focus.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Okay, where are you going with this?
Well, what I love, man, is that you started in 2006 doing a podcast. So you are a pioneer of that. You did the radio, and you moved over to that. The outreach is way bigger. The footprint is way more better to talk about your brand as a DJ. And what I love, man, is you can take something like this Pet Shop Boys track. The Rev and I were talking about. You want me to go? All right. So, he wants me to play this track. You want me to play this track?
No, dude, you cut me off. I was right in the middle of something, and if you want to break out into Pet Shop Boys, that's actually kind of where I was going, and I was gonna ask Remark, how many Pet Shop Boys shows have you been to?
Well,
that was random.
Don't know. No. I'm like a massive fan. I think if you do know me, then you probably know that. But I have been a fan from the beginning. And I just have to call out, by the way, yesterday was the 30th year anniversary of their release of their album, Actually, which, of course, was, It's a Sin, What Have I Done to Deserve This, Always in My Mind, that era.
Right.
Shocking to think it's been 30 years. But anyway, I've been a fan since the beginning, and I don't know how many times I've seen them, and have had many opportunities to cross paths and meet them, et cetera. But back in 2007, they released a track called Minimal, which was part of their album called Fundamental, and it was the second single, and they released all of the stems for kind of public consumption to go ahead and make a mix. And so I got my hands on those and created a really kind of atmospheric ambient mix, which again is on my SoundCloud, and I think that's the track you're referring to.
And, we're going to play that here in a minute.
Well received and kind of nice and dreamy. And I have a strong passion for ambient music and really intelligent kind of electronica.
Right.
And it's something that is a little bit of a different flavor from what people expect from me, but still very much kind of dials into that emotion that I love. So that's that track.
You saying, a lot of people, if you don't, I've known Mark for forever. And there's one time in particular that I actually, do you want to tell this story? Because I kind of gave you a heads up and then you won it. Do you remember that?
What? Oh, which story was this?
So Park Avenue CDs was having a contest about they were.
Oh yeah.
What exactly did you get? And I kind of just reached out to you and said, hey, just a heads up, you might want to.
Yeah, I think Park Avenue CDs had a contest where it's the fan that could show the most Pet Shop Boys memorabilia would actually win this limited edition vinyl pressing, copy of their latest album, whenever it was. And so all these people, I think, started, kind of nudging me on various social media. And I was here. I didn't in London. I had no idea that this was going on. Although I have been a huge customer of Park Ave CDs forever. And so I went in and gathered all of my Pet Shop Boys gear up and took a photograph of it. And
it was epic. This photo,
dude. Of their things.
It was like a whole room.
I have entire room with everything.
Exactly.
I won the vinyl.
Oh yeah, you definitely won, and that was awesome, dude.
And we're speaking with Remark again out of London. I appreciate the fact that you're hanging on the line. I know we've got a little bit of a time. Has Hurricane Irma hit you there yet? No, I'm just kidding. I don't know how time works. Oh my God, local legend for sure, man. You definitely got the chops, even though you're out of state, out of country. I think you're our first out of country local legend. Not now.
Okay.
Do you see doing that?
What a local legend.
Oh, no, don't do that. Yes, you definitely are a local legend.
Absolutely.
What we're going to do, and we don't normally do this, but if you can you hang on the line with us while we play that?
Yeah.
We're going to play that Pet Shop Boy mix, Minimal, which is delightful. Enjoy it. We'll be right back with a continued conversation with Remark.
Wonderful.
WJBW Orlando, the very first quasi-radio web show.
Oh, there you go. The beautiful sounds of Remark. And still on the line with us over from overseas. Man, again, really appreciate your time.
Yeah.
It is Remark.
Sure.
I love the sounds that you put together, man. So thank you for doing that. And again, when you can take the beauty of what was kind of representative of back in the day that resonates with a lot of us still, and present it, and it still have an impactful and still has an impactful meeting. That's a skill. That's a talent. So this year's season OCHO, we're really dedicated to promoting the DJ, because not everybody can be. You can put a playlist together. America, I'm going into Bernie Mac mode.
You're going
America,
into
you could put a playlist together, but you ain't no DJ. All right.
Retarded.
Anyway, okay. All right. Cut it out.
That's a tough.
Party at AK's house.
Okay. All right, cut that out over there. Oh, so, it is Remark on the line, and what I love is you've got a release coming up here after about a little 4-year hiatus or something like that. And so maybe speak around that, get us up to date on, beyond doing Remarkable. He's doing Remarkable. It's a podcast. How frequently do you do that? How frequently do you do that podcast? Monthly?
Yeah. So I put I put a podcast out now probably about 4 to 5 times a year. It used to be monthly, actually, back when my podcast first launched in 2006, and it got to be a little bit relentless to try to keep up with that pace, as I'm sure you guys know. But 4 or 5 times a year, and I really put a lot of effort and energy into the mixes that I put out. And so in July, this past month, a few months ago, I released kind of a brand new, all new mix called Meteoric, and it was a awesome, really new kind of sounding mix. But one of the things that I am also really passionate about, and the mix you've kind of alluded to already, is this. I've got a series I call Remark Classics, and basically what I do is go back through the archives and kind of extract some of the big tracks that we remember fondly from those glory days of the 1990s. But I look for really high quality recordings of it, whether it's tracks that have either been remastered or they've been CD quality versions from back in the day, and do a lot of editing to really make the sound great, and I kind of re-record them and remaster them and really mix them in a new way. And so I have 4 to date, and the last one was released in 2013, and they've been hugely successful, as you can imagine. I have one called the third installment is called Schoolin', and it has like every possible kind of old school track you can recall from the glory days. But everyone has a different theme, and so the new one that's coming out next Saturday, the 16th of September, is called Dreamin', and it's really kind of captures that essence of the glory days when we used to, really enjoy that kind of progressive house, dreamy sound between 5 a.m. and 8 a.m. That's the kind of time frame I'm trying to capture. And so this mix is 3 hours, and it literally takes you on a dream experience from start to finish. It's not really trance per se, but more that progressive house that was really rich and inspirational, but the kind of music that you would walk out of the club just feeling so good about. So that's coming up, and it's going to be released on the 16th through all of my social media channels and, of course, the podcast itself. So it's really looking forward to that.
Yeah, like future electric disco or something. Just remarkable. So, hey, what is London like over there? I would imagine you have DJ gigs out and about, and so give us a topography if you can via good old fashioned words. What it's like over there. If you want to compare and contrast to Orlando, that'd be good. We're kind of soft minded over here.
Well, it's interesting. Of course, you guys remember because London was such a huge inspiration for us in the Orlando 1990s. I mean, every major DJ that I fell in love with, was from London. They were all coming from the massive super clubs, whether it be Renaissance or Cream or Gatecrasher and all of these things. And so I've always had a fondness for London for those reasons. And then even before that, going back to the Visage days we talked about, so many of my musical influences from those years were also from the UK in general, the Smiths, New Order, Joy Division, you go on and on. And so I feel really inspired that I'm now able to live in this, country that has got such a strong history with music and so much that resonates with me personally. So since being here, it's funny. I go out now, and there's still some pretty big mega clubs. I just actually purchased tickets just yesterday to see Sasha at Fabric, later this year, and it's incredible to do that. I saw Guy J last November on a boat cruise down the Thames, and it's like incredible to go and hear a house DJ on a boat down the river while you're surrounded by central London. So
hear that, Orlando?
Really different experience. And I would say that in terms of a scene, it's alive and kicking. Ministry of Sound is still huge. Creamfields is still a massive festival. It's pretty impressive to see all the different things that are still happening. So it feels great. I think the only thing that's a challenge is now that, you said we're Generation Xers, and now that we definitely are.
Right, yeah, right.
Up to 3, 4, 5 in the morning is one of the more challenging things for me these days. It's not so much the music. It's always there, but it's more around the effort. But I love it, and it's great to have that on your doorstep pretty much whenever you want it.
Nice. Remark, I got to say, we haven't, talked about this because, obviously we can't, see you, but you've always had such a cool look from your teens when you're in your goth phase and, all through this transition, with your, your hair has always been on point.
Lou Pearlman over
Grandpa, there. Shut up over there, buddy. But I'm going somewhere with this, Grandpa. And, okay, you know what? I'm gonna have to go over there and slap his ass. Anyways, you always have a cool look, and that nothing's changed. Now you got that beard, and you're all just buff and tough, and I just love you, bro. I'm just it's good. It's good to see the transitions.
Yeah, I've always been really into different
challenges
and vibes, and always like to express myself through various things. And so, it's great. And now it's all about kind of trying to stay fit as we age and trying to stay
right.
Motivated in this regard. So it's definitely a huge interest. But
meat on the bones.
Still love to dance. You guys mentioned that earlier. It's still a huge passion of mine, and that's a huge way to relieve, kind of the world.
I think it keeps you young.
And, I've always, from a DJ perspective, have always viewed my talent and kind of the things I've wanted to express musically through the lens of the dance floor. I mean, so many DJs, even some of my favorite DJs, sometimes are very stoic inside the DJ booth. They're very concentrated, on what they do, and maybe an occasional hand clap. But for me, and you guys remember, it was all about
dancing.
How do we get out of the dance? How do we get out of the DJ booth? It's confining. How do we get
superimpose it?
How do we express ourselves?
He's got to feel it and get in there. I love that.
There one time, one time, but he used to do a regular thing at Icon. Where he would go out on the dance floor and onto the stage and whatnot, and it was like it's like he's
what
very
do I need to get this where I want it? Yeah, no, you see that's the richness of Orlando history that I love to hear kind of plays out, and I love to hear these stories of London and to hear, I would love to, somebody doing house music on a boat. That should happen legally somewhere in Orlando as well. Right? We have main river to go.
Lake Eola.
Eola.
Get on a boat.
And get on DJ Swan.
Swan pedal on a boat.
Yeah, right. We got DJ Swan up in here. We are speaking with Remark, I will say. Man, I appreciate the fact that so much you're able to give us this much time. And what I love, too, is that we spoke a little bit off channel about the fact that when you're doing something kind of forward thinking, you have to be really savvy technology-wise. And I think what goes unspoken throughout your journey, and maybe we'll just shine a little light in that corner, but, the technology prowess that you have to have, or adaptability. It's not even prowess, right? Over time, adaptability becomes prowess. So maybe speak to that a little bit, especially over the course of a couple decades.
Yeah. Well, in 2001, I had the opportunity to get hired for a small fruit company known as Apple. And so I've been with them now for 16 years. And through that time, just put it in context, I got hired before the iPod was released. Right. So I've kind of seen it all from a technology perspective, and was a huge fanboy for Apple, even before I joined the company. But I really owe everything to my life now, London, et cetera, to them. But I'm very much still involved in the technology component. Okay. Even back in the day, I was involved in graphic design, and I was involved in, music clearly, and different kind of technology things. And so I've always had my fingers in those
You're on the cutting edge with it, yeah.
Yeah, it's been great to be involved in that, and to also watch, Apple's rise and continued usage with people, especially in the creative community, of being dedicated to the brand and the product. And so, anyway, I use all of their stuff clearly for all of my music, and it's been great to be part of that. And so, like I was mentioning to you earlier, it's also great to be seeing how DJs these days continue to evolve their sound, where so much, in the 80s and the 90s, the talent was really around kind of the beat matching skills and how you could carry the mix. And now
everybody's phone's DJing. Hold on.
That clearly is done, automated for us now. It's all done through the computers, which is great. But I think now for me, the skills, you really have to listen for and look for the skills that make each DJ unique. So for me, I really like to pride myself on the journey from the start to finish. It's all around how did we take you on a mix from beginning to end. And my mixes tend to be very long, nowadays, 2.5, 3 hours. And I really want people to go on an entire experience. But other DJs, it's all about the technique or the technical side, or how they splice things, or how they cut things, and it's just exciting. So it's really incredible to watch that, and that's a lot of the reasons I listen to DJs these days. Is kind of like what do they bring to the table that's different? Since beat mixing is not really the skill that really separates you from anybody else.
Right, totally. So we're talking with Remark, man. It's been awesome. We've been with you now for over half an hour, and it's that's incredible. We were talking to you from London.
Well, I love the fact that again, we think that what you've done really kind of paved the way for what we're doing, and whether it's we're really totally independent in here. So I love that you talk about gear a little bit, the reliability. I'm an Apple fan myself, but I'll tell you honestly. You can have the greatest tools in the world, but if you don't even use them, what good are they? So,
know how to use them.
I think the good craftsman kind of creates the tools that they need, and you only do that by doing the work. And Remark, you definitely have done the work over the years. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for rocking the spot. Yeah, thank you, brother. So hang tight with us. We're going to bust into a little bit of remixed New Order. Here to stay, appropriately, I will say. And you're listening to WJBWnetworks.com, the JB Rev Show. Yeah. I am grateful and happy. I think that was a healthy session. Go check out the upcoming release, September 16th. What is it entitled, sir?
Yeah, so this is going to be Remark Classics Volume 5, Dreamin'. Available on my SoundCloud, which is soundcloud.com/Remark Central, or Mixcloud.com, Remark Central, or search Remark Podcast in iTunes. It's all over. So
Google that right now.
Check it out.
Awesome.
There you go. There it is. Cool. I appreciate your time.
Yeah,
again,
Thank
hang on the
so
line
much.
with us. It's, again, the JB Rev Show. Dig these sounds.
of humankind. This bomb set up by time, like a bright light on the horizon, shining so bright, he'll get you flying. He'll drive you away, he'll drive you insane, but then on the move, only your pain. Like a bright light on the horizon, shining so bright, he'll get you flying, he'll get you flying, he'll get you
first quasi-radio web show.
Wow. Yeah.
That's how you do it.
Is that Anthony Cole's voice?
I don't believe it is.
It sure does sound like him.
I don't believe it is.
Speaking of Anthony Cole.
Anyway, yeah.
And welcome back to the JB Rev Show.
There you go. The JB Rev Show.
Okay. Then.
And I am at Radio JB Web on Twitter. That's the at REVJERR on Twitter. Follow him. Whenever he's there, he's funny.
Rev Jabber.
So anyway, appreciate the fact that we were able to do this. We still have a hurricane impending. Never mind the fact that we're still trying to shine a light on people. So we're probably going to release this early, eh?
Well, yeah.
I guess we'll just release it
won't
before.
Have power Tuesday.
If they don't have power and shit,
I know we
how
won't
can
be
they
doing
get it?
this.
It would be wasted. All right. Well, we'll get it out there next day. Then we like to do everything live. Like I said, welcome to season OCHO.
OCHO.
We're going to focus on DJs.
OCHO.
This year, we're going to focus on local people doing great stuff with food. We're going to focus on local artists, musicians, and activists. As we always do, go to WJBWnetworks.com for more information.
And I'm also going to be starting a segment for season OCHO.
That's good.
Where I'm going to bring in a song, and we'll highlight a different artist every week, and we'll talk about that artist a little bit, and play one of their songs.
Oh,
so
you're going to bring in a song?
Well,
you're going to talk about. How you're going to have to get me the song before the show. Then,
of course.
All right. Yeah. Live every Tuesday night, typically about 7:00. We start on the Spreaker hub. It distributes out to virtually everywhere. I was looking at the stats the other day, and I was like, "What is Opera?" Have you ever heard of Opera as a digital? I don't know. They keep springing up, popping down.
All right, then.
Anyway, let me play this. See if I got it. Hold on.
What are you going to play? What you got?
Hold on.
WJBW.
Get a new intro.
Party at AK's house.
The revolution has begun.
Google that right now.
And now,
Seriously.
breaking news badly.
Yes, I do, man.
That's crazy. That's not our new intro. That's just a bunch of bits straggled together.
But it sounded good. You do a lot of editing. That's takes a lot of time.
No, it takes no time. It's easy. It's right here on the iPad. Grandpa. Anyway, this year
my upper lip keeps struggling to this microphone.
Man, I took the thing off. Last time you were here, you sniddly snotted all over the.
Man,
I had to clean it off, and now it's sitting over there. You.
Oh, geez.
Donkey.
Hey, sometimes
Yeah. All right. There was something so important I wanted to talk about.
Yeah,
Hold
let's
on.
keep the integrity of this show going because Remark's going to be sharing this on his platform.
Come paint Pulse portraits.
Oh, there you go.
All welcome. This is our friends over at the Orlando Orlando Traveling Memorial.
Right.
And
isn't Chris?
They are going to be 142 East Jackson Street, Orlando 32801. There you go. That's 142 East Jackson Street, Orlando, Florida.
Okay.
Orlando, Florida.
So
I got to roll my L's.
This has been great.
Huh?
This has been a good show.
You had a good time?
Yeah,
Was it a little
I did.
fun little time with your little
So
buddy?
the following
DJing?
Tuesday, we're going
doing
to
fake radio, having fun, doing nothing.
I might not
basically
show up.
fun.
Is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, you'll be season solo Ocho.
Season solo Ocho.
Solo Ocho. It'll be
Hey man, I can go solo at any point.
You can.
I'm like a piece of Lego.
You sure can.
I'm like a piece of Lego,
I'll
man.
tell you what.
You gonna tell me what? Okay.
tell you
We've
what.
got good stuff prepped up.
Yeah.
I do actually have one in the can. Oh, what is that?
One in the
Party
can.
at AK's house.
See, that's where it's at.
So I've actually got an episode for next week. So the pressure of what we're doing here is not so buoyant because then a week after that, I think is somebody's birthday. So I don't know
would be
what
my
we're going to
birthday.
do.
All right.
So we got to talk about it.
We will.
All right,
Definitely
then.
do that.
Let's do that now. Here's a track from Nowhere.
And hey,
and
it's been nice because I got to prepare myself for this little storm that's coming up here.
Yeah.
Just so you know, we were
Exactly.
recording this Friday
Right.
evening at 6:29.
That's
So
when we're ending.
tomorrow's Saturday.
Yep. So we're both going to be alive. Just
Yeah,
touch my hand.
All right.
Okay. All right,
So
baby.
I got some prep.
No,
work I
not the
gotta get
finger
done.
thing.
So it's been real, man. I like
Hey.
this season opener. It was a good one. So
we appreciate everybody that backs up
absolutely.
behind us. Let me cue
Thank
the.
you,
hold on,
Mark.
cue
Thank
the-
you, Jessica
Cue
Pawli.
the kitty cats. Yeah, Jessica Pawli. God,
Yep.
go check that out. How
Yep.
much
Southern
content
Fried Sunday.
do you want? I mean, that's
September
a
17th.
remarkable.
That's going to be awesome.
I mean, it is a remarkable
Yep.
event that she's put
Great
together.
food.
So, Southern Fried Sunday this Sunday,
Oh,
this
that right
September
now.
17th. The
All
day before
females.
that, Remark releases an album digitally
That's right.
online. And
SoundCloud, Remark
we
Central.
are releasing this tomorrow. So
That's
there
right.
you go.
All
All right.
right.
So we're all trying to work together to keep things moving
That's
forward.
right.
And
It's all about
I think
everybody
that's
else.
the important
That's why we
part.
do
You can
this.
have a good local community, but there's a bigger community out there. And we want to thank all the people for listening and supporting for all of these years. It's been a huge deal. Again, after we just spoke with Remark, I'm like, wow, 2006. That was how many years before, me? That was like 6 years before I started this. So in saying that, you got to always respect kind of the people before you, at least to a modicum. A little tiny grain.
All right, Grandpa.
Perhaps. Anyway, grain.
You
Get
guys
get off my lawn.
Stay safe out there.
Get off my lawn or whatever.
We got to
oh my God.
deal
Wait.
with this storm. But it's been real.
Oh, wait. Let's talk a little bit real quick about the people that we love.
Well, that
Do
would
you
be
think
my,
it would-
my wife.
No. Okay, yeah,
no,
that's
I
right.
do.
I'm sorry. I'm
I
not
love
saying
my
no.
wife.
I'm saying yes.
First
but
and foremost.
the local people around here that make things wonderful.
Oh.
The revolution has begun. From the front lines to your imagination.
Army.org. Polka's Hottest, POCASHOTTEST.com. ShannonHoltArt.com. Want to thank Modern Music Movement, Ear Theater, whenever those guys do that thing. And
Kush Ultra Lounge.
Kush Ultra Lounge, for sure. And Dank City,
Little
Orlando
Indies.
City Smoke Shop.
Definitely Little Indies.
Throwing Little Indies into the mix for sure. We broadcast from there. We keep doing it. You can look for a lot of great surprises this year from us.
Yeah,
we're
for
going to
sure.
experiment this year. That's what we're going to do. We're going to keep experimenting. So this is, again, our season opener, season
right.
OCHO with Baga. So next Tuesday, we got a little surprise for you. A little more introspective and NPR-ish than we normally go, but you're going to like it and enjoy it anyway. All right, I am JB Webb.
I'm the Reverend. Stay
He
safe.
is the Reverend. There you go.
We'll see you soon.
Enjoy this band, Knower.
I barely know her.
You look at me like I don't know a thing, like I can't understand the pain you're feeling. You take me for some fool, I don't know what to do, but I'm telling you, I ain't quitting. You look at secrets of reality, and then letting in the things that keep you hidden. But I'm telling you, I want to see what's in your heart. May not be so far apart. What's in your heart? I'm going crazy trying to read your mind, 'cause the puzzle never seems to come together.
WJBW Orlando, the very first quasi-radio web show.